Alright, so in the last video I showed you guys how to apply basic paragraph styles to these, but I'm going to get a little more in depth um, with the paragraph styles and show you how to apply um, some more typographic niceties that you wouldn't normally deal with otherwise. So as I've mentioned a million times in class, we get a lot of bad habits from the typewriter, and some of those drag over in the way text is composed. Others are kind of the way InDesign handles default bits of text. So we're going to attack those defaults and kind of bend them to our will. The first thing in that step, the first step forward in kind of erasing those, is to go to Type and Show Hidden Characters. And what that's going to do, I'll zoom in here, is it's going to make all these extra special characters that are normally invisible visible. So paragraph returns, for instance, are really good. Example, you wouldn't know necessarily that there was a double paragraph return there. If you didn't have this on, you can see where spaces are. There is a whole there's a whole slew of these, and if you ever need to look them up, it's really easy to just Google InDesign hidden character key, and it will give you a huge list, like a big old table of what all these actually are. For instance, you'll see something like that, which is a soft return. That's not going to be something you're going to intuitively know, so just look up InDesign hidden character key and you can kind of run through and decipher what all those things mean. In any case though, we are going to want to change a few of the default things. So one thing that I want to do is get rid of these double paragraph returns. Now there is an automated way to do that I will show you later, but because we're just dealing with a single little block of text, I'm going to do it manually for now to spare you guys kind of the trouble. So now that those are gone, we now have this problem of handling where paragraphs actually begin and end. Particularly right now it's a little easier to see because there's only a couple words on the last line, and that gives us this nice white break, but that's really not useful if there were more words and it went to the end. So what we're going to do is double click on this, and you can see there's a myriad of options, and we're going to handle the spacing through, of course, indents and spacing. So one thing that we want to do is increase the space after, and I have preview checked so you can see this in real time. And I'm going to give this a half line of lead, which means that if a full line of lead is 12 points, and remember this was set 10 over 12, so half of that is 6, and that should be enough to distinguish where a new paragraph starts and stops. And to prove that, I'll hit Shift W and that will pull you into preview mode. You can hit escape to get out of it, but again, Shift W will pull up a print proof. And now we have those nice spaces back. They're not as big as a full paragraph return, which is pretty grotesque, just a half line. And now we're set. This is also the place where you may, for instance, decide that this would look better with an indent. So we can handle left indent. Oh, excuse me, that's the full text block. First line indent, rather. And we'll do 6. So as opposed to a full tab, which would look something like this, way too much, and you can see the little hidden tab character, we'll handle it through paragraph styles. The nice thing about that is that, well, A, you don't have that character in there, the tab character, which is going to be kind of an all or none proposition. The other thing is that if we decide at a later date that, oh, that actually needs to be a little more, it's as easy as handling it through this dialog box globally, and it'll change it very pragmatically. There won't be a lot of vestigial kind of spacing involved. So we're going to click OK there. That's starting to look a little better. One thing that I noticed though is that the default character set for the for Arno is this lining character, which looks a little janky to me, right? We've discussed kind of why you wouldn't want to use tabular lining figures within running text. And again, that's going to be something we can handle through the paragraph styles. So I'm going to pull this over a bit. Actually, I'll cancel out and drag this over so you can see what's going on. I'm going to come down here to something called Open Type Features. And you remember Open Type from when you were looking for these. Open Type Features is what's going to govern all those kind of extra characters and how a set behaves generally. So we're going to go to the figure style, and right now it's set to default, which for Arno is tabular lining, and we're going to go to proportional old style, and you can see how immediately that 18 fell into line. So we're going to click OK. So now, as we're looking, and the other part of this equation that it solves is we don't run into something later wishing that we had old style proportional characters and find out we don't have them. So that's again part of the type trial, is making sure that you have all the facets your particular text is going to require. So if some of you guys are doing this on maybe scientific culture or more specifically astronomy culture or something, and you have a lot of equations or strange math symbols, you definitely want to make sure that your typeface has that capacity. This is a really good way to test on just a couple of simple paragraphs. So again, this is kind of an extra step, but it will save you a lot of heartache in the end, making sure that your typeface will behave in a way that you expect it to. So in the next and final video, I'm going to show you how to add running headers and folios, as that's part of the project too. You want to make sure that you're kind of preparing type appropriately. So as soon as we're done here, I'll send that over to you.